I invite you to open your minds and hearts to a reality far greater than what your physical senses perceive. So tonight we shall delve into the depths of your being, where the seeds of all creation are sown, the intricate interplay between your mind, body, and soul. Let us begin by understanding the nature of your mind. Your mind, my dear friends, is not confined to the gray matter within your skull. It is a vast, limitless realm that extends far beyond the boundaries of your physical form. It is the canvas upon which all your experiences are painted, the stage upon which the drama of your life unfolds. Your mind is the very foundation of your existence, the soil in which all your experiences, all your circumstances, all your relationships take root and flourish. Now you might wonder, Neville, how do we harness the power of our minds? How do we direct this incredible force to create the life we desire? The answer, my dear friends, lies in the art of focused attention. Your mind, you see, is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you focus upon consistently, with emotion and conviction, becomes magnified in your experience. Consider for a moment the difference between a scattered, unfocused mind and one that is laser-focused on a specific goal or desire. The scattered mind, jumping from thought to thought like a butterfly flitting from flower to flower, creates a reality that is equally scattered and unfocused. But the focused mind, like a powerful laser beam, cuts through the illusions of the physical world and shapes reality according to its vision. This, my friends, is why it's of utmost importance to be vigilant about where you place your mental focus. Are you focusing on your problems, your limitations, your fears? Or are you directing your mental energy towards your desires, your aspirations, your highest vision for yourself? Remember, where your attention goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, reality grows. But here's a crucial point that so many miss. It's not enough to simply think about your desires. You must feel them, experience them in your imagination as if they were already real. For your subconscious mind, which is the builder of your reality, does not differentiate between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. When you focus your mind on your desired reality, seeing it clearly in your mind's eye, feeling emotions associated with its fulfillment, you are literally impressing this reality upon your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant that it is, then works tirelessly to bring this impression into your physical experience. Now let us turn our attention to your body. Your body, my dear listeners, is not a mere physical shell housing your consciousness. It is a living temple, a miraculous instrument through which you experience and interact with the world around you. Your body is the bridge between your inner world of thoughts and feelings and the outer world of physical experience. Many people make the mistake of viewing their body as separate from their mind and soul. They treat it as a machine, fueling it with food, exercising it, and then wondering why it doesn't perform as they wish. But I tell you that your body is an extension of your mind and soul. It is a physical manifestation of your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Every cell in your body is listening to your thoughts, responding to your emotions, aligning itself with your beliefs. When you focus your mind on health, vitality, and well-being, your body responds accordingly. When you visualize yourself as strong, fit, and energetic, your body begins to align with this mental image. But it goes even deeper than this. Your body is not just responding to your conscious thoughts, but to the deep-seated beliefs held in your subconscious mind. This is why it's crucial to examine and revise your beliefs about your body. Do you believe that aging must bring decline and disease? Do you believe that your body is fragile and prone to illness? These beliefs, held in the subconscious mind, will manifest in your physical experience, regardless of your conscious desires for health and vitality. The key to transforming your body lies in transforming your mind. As you focus your mind on the perfection of your body, as you hold in your imagination the image of yourself in perfect health and vitality, you are literally reshaping your physical form from the inside out. Your cells, your organs, your entire physical system begins to align with this mental image. But remember, my friends, This is not about forcing or struggling. It's not about battling against your body or trying to whip it into shape through sheer willpower. Instead, it's about aligning your mind, your imagination, and your emotions with the state of perfect health and vitality. It's about loving your body, appreciating its miraculous nature, and allowing it to express its innate perfection. As you focus on your body in this way, you'll begin to notice subtle changes. You might find yourself naturally drawn to healthier foods, or feeling inspired to move your body in ways that bring you joy. You might notice aches and pains diminishing, energy levels increasing, a general sense of well-being permeating your physical experience. These are not coincidences, my friends. They are the natural result of aligning your mind and body with the perfection that is your true nature. Now let us delve into the most profound aspect of your being, your soul. Your soul, my dear listeners, is not some nebulous ethereal concept. It is the very essence of who you are. It is your connection to the infinite, the divine spark within you that is one with the creative power of the universe. Your soul is not separate from your mind and body. Rather, it permeates every aspect of your being. It is the animating force that gives life to your body and consciousness to your mind. When you focus on your soul, you are focusing on your true self, your divine nature. Many people go through life unaware of their soul, caught up in the dramas and it's called the physical world. They identify solely with their body and their thoughts, forgetting the infinite, eternal nature of their true self. But I tell you this, awakening to your soul nature is the key to true freedom, true peace, true fulfillment. When you focus on your soul, you begin to see beyond the limitations of the physical world. You recognize that you are not bound by your circumstances, your past experiences, or even your physical form. You realize that you are a limitless being capable of creating any reality you can conceive. But how do we focus on something as intangible as the soul? The answer lies in stillness, in silence, in turning your attention inward. In the quiet moments, when you silence the chatter of your mind and the demands of your body, you can begin to sense the presence of your soul. It's a feeling of expansiveness, of peace, of connection to something far greater than your individual self. As you practice focusing on your soul, you'll begin to experience life from a new perspective. The dramas and challenges of daily life no longer seem so overwhelming. You start to see them as opportunities for growth, for expansion, for expressing more of your divine nature. You begin to make decisions from a place of inner wisdom, rather than fear or external pressure. Moreover, as you align with your soul nature, you naturally begin to align with the universal laws that govern all of creation. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, attracting experiences and relationships that support your highest good. You begin to live in a state of flow, where life unfolds with ease and grace. Now, my dear friends, let us explore how these three as mind, body, and soul work together to create and joy. Imagine, if you will, a triangle. At one point is your mind, at another your body, and a third your soul. This triangle represents the totality of your being. When all 3 points are in alignment, when you're focusing equally on mind, body, and soul, you experience a state of perfect harmony, of divine balance. But what happens when we neglect one aspect of our being? Let's say we focus solely on the mind, pursuing intellectual knowledge and mental stimulation while neglecting our physical health and spiritual well-being. We might find ourselves mentally sharp, but physically drained and spiritually empty. Or perhaps we focus exclusively on the body, pursuing physical perfection while neglecting our mental and spiritual growth. We might achieve a fit physique but feel unfulfilled and disconnected from our true purpose. The key, my friends, is to maintain a balanced focus on all 3 aspects of your being. As you nurture your mind with positive thoughts and empowering beliefs, as you care for your body with love and appreciation, as you connect with your soul through stillness and inner reflection, you create a harmonious, integrated state of being. From this state of balance, you become a powerful creator capable of manifesting your desires with ease and grace. Let us now explore some practical ways to focus on each aspect of your being. For the mind, I encourage you to be vigilant about your thoughts. Watch them as a detached observer would, noticing without judgment the patterns and habits of your thinking. When you catch yourself in negative or limiting thoughts, gently redirect your focus to what you want to experience. Practice visualization, seeing clearly in your mind's eye the reality you wish to create. Feel the emotions associated with the fulfillment of your desires. For the body, I invite you to develop a deep appreciation for this miraculous vehicle in habit. Speak to your body with love and gratitude. Visualize it in a state of perfect health and vitality. When you eat, do so with consciousness as blessing your food and imagining it nourishing every cell of your body. Move your body in ways that bring you joy, not as a chore or punishment, but as a celebration of life. For the soul, create moments of stillness in your day. Practice meditation, not as a technique to be mastered, but as an opportunity to commune with your higher self. In these quiet moments, turn your attention inward, beyond your thoughts and physical sensations, to the vast, peaceful presence that is your true nature. As you go about your day, strive to maintain an awareness of this inner presence, letting it guide your actions and decisions. As you focus on integrating mind, body, and soul, you may encounter resistance. Old habits of thought and behavior may try to reassert themselves. Doubts may arise, questioning the reality of your soul or the power of your mind to shape your experience. This is natural, my friends. These are simply the old patterns fighting for survival. When you encounter this resistance, do not fight against it. Fighting only gives it more power. Instead, observe it with detachment and compassion. Recognize it for what it is, the dying gasp of old limiting beliefs. Then gently but firmly redirect your focus to your new, empowering vision of yourself. Remember, my dear listeners, that this integration of mind, body, and soul is not a destination to be reached, but a journey to be lived. Or it is a moment-by-moment choice to align with your higher self, to live from a place of balance and harmony. There will be times when you feel perfectly aligned, and times when you feel off balance. This is all part of the journey. The key is to keep returning your focus to this integration, to keep choosing alignment over and over again. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to notice profound changes in your life. You may find that challenges which once seemed insurmountable now appear as opportunities for growth. You may notice synchronicities and coincidences occurring more frequently, guiding you towards your desires. You may experience a deep sense of peace and fulfillment, regardless of external circumstances. But perhaps the most profound change will be in your relationship with yourself. As you focus on integrating mind, body, and soul, you develop a deep love and appreciation for all aspects of your being. You begin to see yourself as you truly are, a divine being having a human experience, a creator shaping through the power of your consciousness. This self-love, this self-appreciation becomes the foundation for all your experiences in the world. For how can you truly love others if you do not first love yourself? How can you appreciate the beauty of the world if you do not first appreciate the beauty within you? As you cultivate this loving relationship with yourself, you'll find that your external world begins to mirror this inner state. You attract loving relationships, fulfilling experiences, and abundant opportunities. Now, my friends, I want to address a question that often arises when discussing the integration of mind, body, and soul. Many ask Neville, how do I maintain this focus in the face of life's test challenges? How do I stay centered when the world around me seems chaotic? To this, I say the challenges and chaos you perceive in the outer world are reflections of inner states of consciousness. When you maintain your focus on the integration of mind, body, and soul, you create an inner state of harmony that must, by law, be reflected in your outer experience. The key is to remember that you are not at the mercy of external circumstances. You are the creator of your reality. When faced with challenges, return your focus to this inner harmony. See the challenge not as a problem to be solved, but as an opportunity to express more of your divine nature. Use your mind to reframe the situation, seeing the blessing hidden within it. Use your body as an anchor, staying present in the moment, rather than getting lost in worry about the future or regret about the past. Connect with your soul, drawing upon the infinite wisdom and power that is your true nature. As you practice this, you'll find that you become like a rock in the midst of a storm, steady, unmoved, at peace, regardless of what's happening around you. This doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. On the contrary, you become more effective in your actions because they come from a place of inner calm and clarity rather than fear or reactivity. My dear friends, as we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to emphasize a point of utmost importance. The power to focus on your mind, body, and soul is not some external force that you need to acquire or develop. It is your very nature. It is who you are at the core of your being. You are a divine being possessing infinite potential, expressing yourself through the vehicle of your human form. When you focus on integrating mind, body, and soul, you are simply remembering your true nature. You are aligning yourself with the fundamental creative force of existence. This is why this practice is so powerful. It is not about becoming something you're not, but about recognizing and expressing what you truly are. So, my dear friends, as you go forth from this place, carrying this knowledge with you, I urge you to maintain your focus on the integration of mind, body, and soul. Recognize the immense power you wield when these three aspects of your being are in harmony. Use this power wisely, use it lovingly. Use it to create a life that reflects your highest vision for yourself and for the world. Begin each day with a conscious focus on all three aspects of your being. As you wake before your feet touch the floor, take a moment to center yourself. Bring your attention to your mind, setting positive intentions for the day. Focus on your body, feeling gratitude for its miraculous nature. Connect with your soul, recognizing the divine presence within you. Throughout your day, be mindful of maintaining this integration. When you find yourself caught up in mental chatter, gently bring your attention back to your body, feeling your breath, sensing your physical presence. When you notice tension or discomfort in your body, use your mind to send loving thoughts to that area and connect with your soul for healing energy. When you feel disconnected or lost, turn inward to the quiet presence of your soul, letting it guide you back to balance. As you interact with others, do so from this place of integration. Let your words be a reflection of your highest thoughts. Let your actions be an expression of your soul's wisdom. Let your physical presence radiate the vitality of being. In doing so, you not only transform your own life, but you inspire and uplift those around you. And as you retire for the night, take a moment to reflect on your day. Acknowledge the moments when you maintain your focus on mind, body, and soul integration and the positive effects this had on your experiences. If there were moments when you lost this focus, simply observe this without judgment and set the intention to return to integration the next day. Remember, my friends, this focus on mind, body, and soul integration is not a burden or a chore. It is the most natural and most fulfilling way to live. It is your birthright as a divine being. As you consistently maintain this focus, you will find that life becomes more joyful, more peaceful, more abundant in every way. You will begin to notice changes in every aspect of your life. Your mental state becomes clearer, more positive, more focused on what you want to create rather than what you fear. Your body begins to align with your mental image of health and vitality, functioning with greater ease and energy. Your soul expression becomes more apparent in your life, guiding you towards experiences that fulfill your deepest purpose. These changes may be subtle at first, a shift in your mood, a new insight or inspiration, a harmonious interaction where there was once conflict. Acknowledge these changes, no matter how small, with gratitude. For they are the first fruits of your integrated consciousness, the early manifestations of your alignment with your true nature. And as you notice these changes, let them fuel your commitment to this practice. Let them strengthen your conviction in the power of focusing on mind, body, and soul integration. For this is the law of your being. What you consistently focus on with feeling must objectify itself in your world. But remember, the greatest change, the most profound transformation will appear within you. As you consistently focus on integrating mind, body, and soul, you are reconditioning your entire being. You are literally rewiring your brain, recalibrating your body's energy systems, and deepening your connection to your soul. You will find yourself naturally thinking more positively, feeling more vibrant, and elaborating more in alignment with your highest self. You will find yourself naturally attracted to people, experiences, and opportunities that support your A-graded state of being. You will find yourself making decisions from a place of inner wisdom and love, rather than from fear or external pressure. This inner transformation is the real miracle of focusing on mind, body, and soul integration. For as you align these aspects of your being, as you step into the truth of your divine nature, your entire world must reshape itself to match this new inner reality. So, my dear friends, I challenge you to embark on this journey of transformation. Commit to focusing on the integration of your mind, body, and soul consistently, passionately, faithfully. Make it the central practice of your life. Write about it in your journal. Speak about it with like-minded friends. Feel its truth in every fiber of your being. And as you do, watch in awe as your life transforms. Watch as inner peace becomes your natural state, as vitality flows through you effortlessly, as wisdom guides your every decision. Watch as you step into the fullness of your divine nature, recognizing yourself as the powerful creator you truly are. For you are a divine being, expressing yourself through the miracle of human form. You are the author of your life story. You are the architect of your reality. Embrace this truth, live from it, and watch as miracles unfold in your life. Go forth, my dear friends, with this knowledge. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, use it to create a life that reflects your highest vision. For in doing so, you are not only transforming your own life, but you are contributing to the elevation of all humanity. You are showing others what is possible when we focus on integrating mind, body, and soul. Remember, your focus determines your reality. As you maintain your focus on the integration of mind, body, and soul, you are aligning with the creative power of the universe. You are stepping into your role as a conscious creator, shaping your reality according to your highest vision. You are powerful beyond measure. You are divine. You are the integrated being of mind, body, and soul. Now go and create the life of your dreams. For it is your birthright, it is your nature, it is who you truly are. Thank you, and may your focus on mind, body, and soul integration guide you to the fulfillment of your highest potential. Let me share with you what actually happens in consciousness during a 72-hour period following a true change in your assumption. The first 24 hours are crucial, as this is when your new assumption begins to take root in your subconscious mind. The second 24 hours strengthen this new pattern. And by the third day, a complete transformation of consciousness has occurred. Many of you wonder why your manifestations seem to take so long, why your reality doesn't immediately reflect your desires. But I tell you this, there is a specific period of gestation for every seed planted in consciousness, just as there is for every seed planted in the earth. 72 hours represents a complete cycle of transformation in consciousness. Consider this. In Scripture, we read of the 3 days Christ spent in the tomb before his resurrection. This is not merely a historical account, but a profound psychological truth. Every transformation in consciousness requires 3 days. It's 72 hours before externalization begins. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your entire approach to manifestation. You stop wondering when your desire will manifest and start understanding the precise law that governs all manifestation. You recognize that time is not an enemy, but a necessary component of psychological gestation. Let me tell you something vital about these 72 hours. They begin the moment you completely accept your desire as an accomplished fact. Not when you start wishing for it, not when you start affirming it, but when you actually accept it as done in your consciousness. Here's a profound truth about this 72-hour period. It operates whether you believe in it or not. Just as a seed will take a specific time to germinate, regardless of whether you understand the process, your assumption will take approximately 72 hours to begin its manifestation, regardless of your conscious beliefs about timing. Think about this. Every major change in your life was preceded by a change in your consciousness approximately 72 hours before its physical manifestation. You may not have been aware of it, but this law was operating nonetheless. This law operates in consciousness with absolute precision, transforming your entire world through a specific sequence that unfolds over these 72 hours. Let me break down for you exactly what happens during this crucial period of transformation. In the first 24 hours, something profound begins to occur in your consciousness. The moment you truly accept your desire as an accomplished fact, your entire inner world begins to reorganize itself around this new assumption. Old patterns of thought begin to dissolve, and a new pattern starts to form. Many of you have experienced fleeting moments of acceptance, only to fall back into doubt and disbelief. But I tell you this, if you can maintain your new assumption for just 72 hours, holding it as true regardless of external evidence, you will set in motion forces that manifest in its manifestation. Consider this. When a woman conceives, she doesn't immediately see external evidence of her pregnancy. Yet from the very first moment of conception, forces are at work within her body, preparing for the manifestation of new life. The same is true of your consciousness during these first 24 hours. During the second 24-hour period, something even more remarkable occurs. Your new assumption begins to affect your subjective world, your thoughts, your feelings, your natural reactions to events. You begin to think from your desire fulfilled rather than of it. Let me tell you something crucial about this second day. This is often when doubt tries to creep in. The external world may still show no evidence of change, and your rational mind may try to convince you that nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, massive reorganization is taking place. Here's a profound truth about the second day. It's the period of death to the old man. Just as Christ spent the second day in the tomb, this is when your old patterns of thought and belief must die to make way for the new. This can feel uncomfortable, even disconcerting, but it's absolutely necessary. Think about this. Every transformation in nature goes through a period where the old form must die before the new can emerge. The caterpillar must cease to be a caterpillar before it can become a butterfly. The same principle applies to your consciousness during these crucial 72 hours. The very discomfort you might feel during this period is evidence that transformation is occurring. Your old patterns of thought and belief are dissolving, making way for your new assumption to take root and grow. The final 24 hours of this 72-hour period are perhaps the most crucial, for this is when the complete transformation of consciousness occurs. This is the period of resurrection, when your new assumption becomes so natural that you can no longer remember how it felt to be in your former state. Let me share with you exactly what happens during these final 24 hours. Your new assumption, which has been gestating in the depths of your consciousness, begins to rise to the surface. It no longer feels like something you're trying to believe. It simply feels like what is. Many of you might experience what seems like a moment of crisis during this final period. But I tell you this, what appears to be a crisis is often a breaking point where the old must give way to the new. It's the darkness before the dawn, the final resistance of the old man before the new man rises. Consider this. In Scripture, it was during the final hours in the tomb that the resurrection occurred. Not gradually, not partially, but in one complete transformation. The same is true of your consciousness during these final 24 hours. The transformation, when it comes, is complete. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your experience of these 72 hours. You stop seeing them as a period of waiting and start recognizing them as a sacred time of transformation. Each hour becomes precious, each moment significant. Let me tell you something vital about these final hours. They often bring what appears to be a complete contradiction to your desire. This is what I call the moment of greatest appearance of failure. But remember, appearances are merely the shadow of past assumptions, not the reality of your present consciousness. Here's a profound truth about this final period. It's when your outer world begins to respond to your new inner conviction. Things begin to shift, often in ways you couldn't have consciously planned or anticipated. People begin to treat you differently. Circumstances begin to rearrange themselves. Think about this. Every great transformation in history appeared darkest just before its completion. The crucifixion preceded the resurrection. The darkest hour comes just before dawn. This principle is reflected in your own consciousness during these final hours. The very circumstances that seem to deny your assumption are often the ones being rearranged to accommodate its fulfillment. What appears to be resistance is actually reorganization. This reorganization of your outer world follows an immutable pattern, much like the transformation of your inner consciousness. Just as a seed must break through the soil that appears to resist it, your new assumption must break through the appearances of your current reality. Let me share with you what actually happens in your outer world during this period. People who seemed indifferent to you suddenly become helpful. Circumstances that appeared fixed begin to shift. Opportunities that weren't visible before suddenly present themselves. All of this occurs not by chance, by law. Many of you observe your outer world anxiously during these 72 hours, looking for signs of change. But I tell you this, the changes are occurring whether you can see them or not. Just as a plant grows beneath the soil before breaking through to the surface, your manifestation is taking form before becoming visible. Consider this: when you plant a seed, the soil must be disturbed. Old patterns must be broken up to make way for new growth. The same is true of your outer world during these 72 hours. What appears as disruption is actually the rearrangement necessary for your new assumption to manifest. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your response to external circumstances during this period. You stop being disturbed by appearances that seem to contradict your assumption. You recognize them as necessary adjustments in the grand pattern of manifestation. Let me tell you something crucial about this reorganization. It often occurs in ways that your conscious mind could never have planned. The wisdom of your subconscious mind, which is one with infinite intelligence, knows exactly how to bring about the conditions necessary for your assumption to materialize. Here's a profound truth about this outer reorganization. It follows the path of least resistance. While your conscious mind might imagine complicated scenarios requiring massive changes, your subconscious mind finds the simplest, most natural way to bring about your desire's fulfillment. Think about this. Every desire you hold contains within itself the seeds of its own fulfillment. When you plant that desire in consciousness through your assumption, it begins to attract and arrange everything necessary for its manifestation. This arrangement often occurs in ways that appear miraculous to the conscious mind. The very circumstances that seem to stand in the way of your desire often become the means of its fulfillment. This is the wisdom of the law operating through the perfect pattern of the 72-hour principle. This pattern unfolds in your experience with a precision that would astonish you if you could see it from a higher perspective. Every thought, every encounter, every seemingly random event during these 72 hours is part of an intricate dance orchestrated by your new assumption. Let me share with you what's actually occurring moment by moment during this period. Your consciousness, having accepted the new assumption, begins to attract corresponding experiences. People begin to treat you according to your new concept of self. Circumstances begin to mirror your inner conviction. This isn't coincidence, it's law. Many of you wonder why certain people suddenly change their behavior toward you, why new opportunities suddenly appear, why solutions to old problems suddenly become clear. But I tell you this, nothing is sudden about it. Each change is the result of your shifted consciousness working through the perfect pattern of these 72 hours. Consider this: when you drop a pebble into a pond, the ripples move outward in perfect circles, affecting every part of the water's surface. Your assumption works in the same way during these 72 hours, sending ripples through the entire fabric of your reality, touching every aspect of your world. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your awareness during this period. You begin to recognize every event, every conversation, every seemingly random occurrence as part of the pattern of fulfillment. Nothing is meaningless. Everything is significant. Let me tell you something vital about this unfolding pattern. It requires no effort on your part beyond maintaining your assumption. You don't need to make things happen. You don't need to manipulate circumstances. The pattern unfolds by law, not by effort. Here's a profound truth about these 72 hours. They represent a complete cycle of transformation from death of the old to birth of the new. Just as the moon moves through its phases, just as the earth rotates through day and night, your consciousness moves through this perfect pattern of transformation. Think about this. Every great master who ever walked the earth taught the same truth in different words. 3 days in the tomb, the third day resurrection, the threefold pattern of transformation. They were all pointing to this same law that operates in consciousness through the 72-hour cycle. The very experiences you encounter during this period, whether they appear positive or negative, are all part of the perfect pattern of fulfillment. Nothing is out of place. Nothing is accidental. To recognize and work with this pattern requires a complete reversal of your usual way of thinking. Instead of looking to external events for evidence, you must maintain an unshakable awareness of your assumptions, reality these 72 hours. Let me share with you exactly how to maintain this awareness as the pattern unfolds. When you wake each morning during this period, your first thought must be from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Before your feet touch the floor, before your mind engages with the day's activities, you must renew your awareness of already being who you desire to be. Many of you start your days by immediately checking external reality for signs of change. But I tell you this, the external will not show evidence until the full 72-hour cycle is complete. Your task during this time is to live from your new assumption regardless of appearances. Consider this: when an actor takes on a role, they must maintain that character's consciousness throughout the entire performance. They can't drop in and out of character and expect to give a convincing performance. The same is true of your new assumption during these 72 hours. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your daily experience. You stop living in anticipation of change and start living from the consciousness of the change already accomplished. This is the secret of working with the pattern rather than against it. Let me tell you something crucial about maintaining this awareness. It's not about forcing yourself to believe something. It's about allowing yourself to feel the naturalness of your new state. The more natural it feels, the more powerfully the pattern works. Here's a profound truth about these 72 hours. Your every reaction, your every response, your every inner conversation must spring from your new assumption. This isn't about pretending or affirming. It's about actually occupying your desired state in consciousness. Think about this. Every time you react from your old state of consciousness, you interrupt the pattern. Every time you respond from your new assumption, you strengthen it. The pattern requires consistency in consciousness to work its perfect law. The very circumstances that tempt you to react from your old state are actually opportunities to strengthen your new assumption. Each challenge is a chance to prove the reality of your inner transformation. These challenging moments during the 72 hours are not obstacles to your manifestation. They are vital parts of the pattern itself. They are opportunities to prove the reality of your new state in consciousness. Let me share with you exactly what to do when these moments arise. When circumstances seem to contradict your assumption, when people act contrary to your desired experience, when everything appears to be moving in the opposite direction. These are the moments when your new consciousness must be maintained with even greater conviction. Many of you interpret challenging circumstances as evidence that your assumption isn't working. But I tell you this, these very circumstances are part of the bridge of incidents, necessary events that must occur to bring about the fulfillment of your desire. They are not obstacles, but stepping stones. Consider this. When you're driving at night, the headlights illuminate only a small portion of the road ahead. Yet you trust that as you continue moving forward, more of the path will be revealed. The same trust is required during these 72 hours. You don't need to see the entire path. You need only maintain your assumption. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your response to challenging circumstances. Instead of being discouraged by apparent contradictions, you begin to welcome them as confirmation that the old patterns are dissolving to make way for the new. Let me tell you something vital about these challenging moments. They often intensify just before the manifestation of your desire. This intensification is not a sign of failure, but a sign that the old patterns are making their final stand before dissolving completely. Here's a profound truth about handling these moments. Your only task is to remain faithful to your assumption. You don't need to fight circumstances, argue with appearances, or try to force changes. Your task is simply to maintain your consciousness of the wish fulfilled. Think about this. Every great manifestation in history was preceded by a period of apparent contradiction. The darkest hour comes just before dawn. The seed must completely break down before the new plant can emerge. These are not merely poetic metaphors. They are descriptions of the law in operation. The very circumstances that seem most opposed to your desire are often the ones being rearranged to bring about its fulfillment. What appears as resistance is actually reorganization. This process of reorganization during the 72 hours follows a precise pattern that, understood, will transform your entire approach to manifestation. What appears as chaos in your outer world is actually perfect order taking shape according to your new assumption. Let me share with you what's actually happening during this reorganization. Your entire world, every person, every circumstance, every condition must adjust itself to match your new assumption. This adjustment often appears as disruption before the new pattern emerges. Many of you become discouraged when your world appears to be falling apart during these 72 hours. But I tell you this, what appears to be falling apart is actually falling into place. The old patterns must dissolve before the new patterns can emerge, just as old structures must be demolished before new ones can be built. Consider this when you rearrange furniture in a room. There's always a moment when everything appears to be in chaos. The room looks worse before it looks better. The same principle applies to the reorganization of your world during these 72 hours. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your perception of change. You stop resisting the apparent chaos and start recognizing it as a necessary part of the reorganization. You understand that disorder is often the prelude to a new and higher order. Let me tell you something crucial about this reorganization. It affects not only your external circumstances, but also your inner world. Old thought patterns dissolve, old emotional responses fade away, old habits naturally fall aside as your new assumption takes root. Here's a profound truth about this process. It works with mathematical precision. Just as water must reach 212 degrees Fahrenheit to boil, just as a seed must remain in darkness before it sprouts, your consciousness must maintain your assumption for approximately 72 hours for complete reorganization to occur. Think about this. Every major shift in your life followed this same pattern, whether you were conscious of it or not. A change in consciousness always preceded a change in circumstance by approximately 72 hours. This is not coincidence, it is law. The very disruption you experience during this period is evidence that the law is working. Your world is reorganizing itself to match your new assumption with perfect precision. This precision of the law operating through the 72-hour principle is as exact as any law in physics or mathematics. It operates with the same certainty that brings dawn after night, spring after winter, harvest after planting. Let me share with you exactly how this precision manifests in your experience. During these 72 hours, everything, every word you speak, every action you take is either aligned with your new assumption or contradicts it. There is no neutral ground. The law registers everything with perfect precision. Many of you wonder why some manifestations seem to come easily while others appear to resist your efforts. But I tell you this, the law is never working more or less effectively. The only variable is your consciousness, your ability to maintain your assumption consistently throughout the 72-hour period. Consider this: when you drop an object, gravity doesn't sometimes work and sometimes fail. It operates with perfect precision every time. The same is true of this law of consciousness. Your assumption, held steadily for 72 hours, must manifest with the same certainty that a released object must fall. When you truly understand this principle, something remarkable happens to your approach to manifestation. You stop hoping and start knowing. You stop pleading and start accepting. You stop wondering if it will work and start living from the certainty that it must work. Let me tell you something vital about this precision. It operates independently of your past experiences, your current circumstances, or others' opinions. The law responds only to your consciousness, your assumption maintained over these 72 hours. Here's a profound truth about this precise operation of law. It works the same way for everyone every time. Just as mathematics doesn't play favorites, just as gravity doesn't discriminate, this law operates with perfect precision for anyone who applies it correctly. Think about this. Every successful manifestation you've ever experienced, whether consciously or unconsciously, followed this precise pattern. The law didn't bend or make exceptions. It simply outpictured with mathematical precision whatever you assumed to be true. The very precision that seems to work against you when you doubt is the same precision that works for you when you maintain your assumption. The law is always working with perfect accuracy. Working with this precision requires a complete understanding of how consciousness operates during these 72 hours. Your every thought, your every inner conversation, your every feeling must align with your assumption with the same precision that a mathematician applies to equations. Let me share with you exactly how to maintain this precise alignment. When you wake in the morning, your first thought must be from your new state. When you go about your day, your inner conversations must reflect your assumption. When you fall asleep at night, you must sleep as though your desire is already fulfilled. Many of you approach manifestation with a mixture of old and new states, shifting between doubt and belief, between old patterns and new assumptions. But I tell you this, the law requires precision. You cannot serve two masters. You must choose your assumption and maintain it with unwavering fidelity. Consider this: when a watchmaker assembles a timepiece, every gear, every spring, every component must be precisely aligned. A single misaligned piece affects the entire mechanism. The same is true of your consciousness during these 72 hours. Every aspect must be in perfect alignment. When you truly grasp this principle, something remarkable happens to your mental discipline. You become acutely aware of your thoughts, your inner conversations, your reactions. You recognize that each mental movement either supports or undermines your assumption. Let me tell you something crucial about this precision. It extends to your emotional state as well. You must feel with the same precision that you think. The feeling of your wish fulfilled must be so precise that it becomes your dominant emotional state. Here's a profound truth about working with this precision. It requires constant vigilance during these 72 hours. You cannot afford mental laziness or emotional indulgence in the old state. Every moment must be lived from your new assumption with mathematical precision. Think about this. Just as a scientist in a laboratory must maintain precise conditions for an experiment to succeed, you must maintain precise conditions in consciousness for your assumption to manifest. There can be no contamination from doubts, no dilution with fears. The very precision that makes this law seem demanding is what makes it infallible. When you maintain your assumption with mathematical accuracy, the law must respond with equal precision. The one thing you must stop doing, the very thing that pushes success away from you, is living in the consciousness of lack. Now let me tell you what I mean by this, for it is of paramount importance. Every moment of your day, you are either living in the consciousness of lack or the consciousness of abundance. There is no middle ground, no neutral state of being. When you declare, "I want success," you are actually affirming its absence. When you say, "I need more money," you are dwelling in the consciousness of not having enough. When you proclaim, "I wish I was successful," You are living in a state of wanting rather than having. Do you see the subtle yet crucial difference? Let me share with you a principle that I have tested and proven countless times. The outside world is nothing more than the objectification of your inner assumptions. Whatever you are experiencing now, be it lack or abundance, is the direct result of your accepted beliefs about yourself and the world. Tonight, I will show you how to move from the consciousness of lack to the consciousness of fulfillment, from the state of wanting to the state of having, from the condition of seeking to the condition of being. Consider this. When you say, I want success, you are placing success outside of yourself, making it something to be attained rather than something to be expressed. This is the fundamental error that keeps pushing success away from you. Success is not something to be pursued. It is a consciousness to be assumed. Let me tell you a story from my own experience. Many years ago, I knew a man who constantly spoke about wanting to be successful. He would say, when I become successful, I will. And then list all the things he would do. Year after year, success eluded him. Why? Because he was living in the consciousness of wanting success rather than being successful. Then one day he heard what I'm telling you now. He realized that as long as he lived in the consciousness of wanting success, he would continue to experience the want of success. That very night, he made a fundamental shift in his consciousness. Instead of saying, I want success, he began to live from the consciousness of being successful. He would fall asleep each night feeling the naturalness of being successful. He would walk through his day experiencing the feeling of being successful. He made this his new normal state of consciousness. Now pay careful attention to what I'm about to tell you, for this is the crux of the matter. Success is not a future event. It is a present state of consciousness. The feeling of being successful now is the secret of experiencing success in what you call the future. When you live in the consciousness of lack, saying things like, I need more money, I want better relationships, I wish I had more opportunities, you are actually reinforcing the very state that keeps these things from you. You are dwelling in the consciousness of absence, and the law of consciousness dictates that what you assume, you must express. Let me show you how to make this fundamental shift in consciousness. First, you must understand that your imagination is not a tool for daydreaming about what you want. It is the very substance of reality itself. When I speak of imagination, I am speaking of your consciousness, your I amness. The Bible tells us, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not mere poetry, it is a practical instruction in the art of consciousness transformation. When you continue to live in the consciousness of lack, you are using your imagination, your creative power, to perpetuate the very condition you wish to change. Consider this profound truth. Everything in your world is pushing against you with the force of your own assumption. If you assume lack, the whole world will prove you right. If you assume abundance, the same world will reorganize itself to prove that assumption. Now, let me give you a practical technique to stop living in the consciousness of lack. Tonight, when you go to bed, instead of reviewing your day of wanting and seeking success, you will enter into a new state of consciousness. You will feel as though you are already successful. But remember, this is not mere positive thinking or affirmation. This is a complete assumption of the state of consciousness of being successful. Feel its naturalness. Feel how it would feel to be the person you desire to be. Feel the satisfaction, the contentment, the gratitude that would be yours if you were already expressing success. Many of you are thinking, but Neville, how can I feel successful when my current reality shows me the opposite? This is where most people remain trapped in the consciousness of lack. They allow their current circumstances to dictate their inner state. Let me tell you something remarkable. Your present circumstances are nothing more than the harvest of your previous assumptions. They have no power to determine your future unless you give them that power by accepting them as final. Think about this. Every great achievement in human history began with someone who dared to assume a state that their senses denied. Every invention, every discovery, every advancement started in the imagination of someone who refused to accept current circumstances as final. The one thing you must stop doing is allowing your present facts to determine your inner conversations. Your inner conversations are your actual state of consciousness. When you say, I can't afford it, it's too difficult, I'm not qualified enough, You are having inner conversations that perpetuate the state of lack. Instead, you must begin new inner conversations based on the assumption of already being what you desire to be. When you walk, you must walk with the feeling of being successful. When you talk, you must talk from the consciousness of being successful. When you work, you must work from the state of being successful. Let me share with you a profound secret. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of creation. Whatever you are feeling as true about yourself right now is creating your future experiences. If you are feeling the frustration of wanting success, you are creating more experiences of wanting success. Now, let us delve deeper into the practical application of this principle. When I tell you to live in the consciousness of success rather than the consciousness of lack, I am not suggesting mere mental gymnastics. I am revealing to you the very foundation of creation itself. Consider this every night before you sleep. Your consciousness is in a state of high receptivity. This is the time when the seed of your assumption will take root most deeply. Instead of falling asleep feeling the frustration of what you don't have, fall asleep in the consciousness of already having what you desire. Let me give you a specific technique. As you lay in your bed, try close your eyes and ask yourself this question. How would I feel if I were expressing the success I desire? Then let that feeling envelop you completely. Feel the satisfaction, the contentment, the absolute knowing that success is not something you're seeking, but something you're expressing right now. Remember, the subconscious mind accepts as true whatever you feel to be true. It doesn't argue, it doesn't question, it simply accepts and then proceeds to express that acceptance in your outer world. This is why feeling is the secret. Many of you have been told that you must work hard, struggle, and sacrifice to achieve success. But I tell you, these are the very assumptions that keep you bound to the consciousness of lack. Success is not achieved through effort. It is expressed through assumption. Think about this. When you assume the feeling of success, you are actually moving into a different state of consciousness. In this new state, opportunities that were always there but invisible to your previous state of consciousness suddenly become visible and available to you. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. The whole vast world is yourself pushed out. Everything you perceive is an expression of your own consciousness. Therefore, when you live in the consciousness of lack, the whole world conspires to show you lack. When you live in the consciousness of success, the same world reorganizes itself to show you success. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about action? Don't we need to do something? Yes, but your actions must spring from the consciousness of already being successful, not from the consciousness of trying to become successful. Do you see the difference? When you act from the consciousness of lack, your actions are tinged with anxiety, doubt, and the energy of seeking. But when you act from the consciousness of already being successful, your actions flow naturally, effortlessly, inspired by the very state you have assumed. Consider this: success is not a destination. It is a state of consciousness. Just as you can move from one room to another in your physical home, you can move from one state of consciousness to another in your spiritual home. The move is accomplished not by physical effort, but by assumption. Let me tell you something profound. The state of consciousness of already being successful knows exactly what to do. It knows precisely what actions to take. It attracts the right circumstances, the right people, the right opportunities. But you must first occupy that state. Let us now address what many find most challenging: maintaining this new state of consciousness when your external world has not yet caught up with your inner assumption. This is where most people falter, where they allow the evidence of their senses to pull them back into the consciousness of lack. Remember this eternal truth: the outer world must conform to your inner assumptions, but it does so in its own time and in what often appears to be a natural way. While you're waiting for the outer manifestation, you must maintain the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. Let me share with you what I mean by persistence in assumption. When you wake each morning, your first thoughts often determine the tone of your entire day. Instead of waking to thoughts of what you lack or what you need to achieve, wake to the consciousness of already being successful. Feel it as naturally as you feel the pillow beneath your head. Many of you ask, but Neville, what about when things go wrong? What about when circumstances seem to contradict my assumption? Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, for this is crucial. Circumstances have no power to alter your state of consciousness unless you give them that power. When circumstances seem to deny your assumption, that is the time to intensify your feeling of already being what you desire to be. Remember, the outer world is only reflecting your past assumptions. Your present assumption, if persisted in, will become your future fact. Consider this. Every moment of your day, you are either strengthening your new state of consciousness or falling back into the old state of lack. Your inner conversations, your reactions to events, your feelings about yourself, these are either confirming your new state or contradicting it. Let me give you a specific example. When you receive a bill in the mail, do you immediately fall into the consciousness of lack, thinking, how will I pay this? Or do you maintain the consciousness of abundance, knowing that as a successful person, all your needs are met with ease? Your reaction in such moments reveals your true state of consciousness. This is why I tell you, the one thing you must stop doing is allowing external circumstances to determine your internal state. Your internal state must be maintained regardless of external evidence. This is the art of living from the end. Think about this. Success is not something that happens to you. It is something that happens from you. It is the outer expression of an inner conviction. When you truly live in the consciousness of being successful, success becomes as natural as breathing. Many of you have been taught to set goals, to make plans, to take action. But I tell you, before all of these, you must first establish the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. For your goals, plans, and actions will then spring from this new state of consciousness, carrying with them the power of fulfillment. Let me share with you a profound secret about manifestation. The world is not responding to your wants, your needs, or your wishes. It is responding to your state of consciousness. When you live in the consciousness of lack, saying, I want success, you are actually manifesting more wanting, not more success. Now let us discuss what I consider to be the most vital aspect of this teaching, the role of faith in maintaining your new state of consciousness. But when I speak of faith, I do not mean blind belief or hoping for the best. I speak of faith as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen in the external world. Consider this profound truth. Faith is nothing more than loyalty to your unseen assumption. When you assume the consciousness of being successful and persist in that assumption despite all external evidence to the contrary, you are exercising true faith. Let me tell you something that few understand about the nature of faith. Faith is not believing that something will happen in the future. Faith is knowing that what you desire is already yours in consciousness, and therefore must manifest in your experience. This is why I tell you that imagination creates reality. Many of you struggle with maintaining your assumption because you're constantly looking for evidence in the external world. But I tell you, the evidence appears after the assumption, never before. Your task is to remain faithful to your assumption until it hardens into fact. Think about this. Every time you say, I'll believe it when I see it, you are living in direct opposition to the law of consciousness. The correct attitude is, I'll see it because I believe it. This is the true meaning of faith. When you wake in the morning and your external world shows no sign of your assumed success, that is the moment to intensify your faith. Instead of allowing the external to shake your conviction, let every contradiction strengthen your resolve to maintain your new state of consciousness. Let me share with you a practical technique for maintaining your faith. Throughout your day, whenever you notice yourself slipping back into the consciousness of lack, stop and ask yourself this question: how would I be thinking and feeling right now if I were already expressing the success I desire? This simple question will bring you back to your desired state of consciousness. But remember, this is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about assuming the natural feeling of already being what you desire to be. Consider how a truly successful person thinks and feels. They don't wake up wondering if success will come to them. They don't go through their day seeking success. They live, move, and have their being in the consciousness of success. This must become your new normal. Many of you have created habits of thought and feeling that perpetuate the consciousness of lack. Every time you say, I can't afford it, it's too difficult, I'm not ready, you are strengthening these habits. These must be replaced with new habits that spring from your assumed state of success. Let me tell you something profound about habits of consciousness. They can be changed in an instant by assumption. The moment you assume a new state of consciousness, you have changed. The persistence of that change depends entirely on your loyalty to the new state. Let us now explore what happens in the interval between your assumption and its manifestation in the physical world. This interval is where most people falter, where they allow doubt to creep in and return to the old state of consciousness. Remember this, the interval is not a period of waiting, it is a period of gestation. Just as a seed planted in the ground requires time to grow into a visible plant, your assumption requires time to grow into a visible manifestation. But the seed does not doubt. It simply grows according to law. Many of you ask, how long must I maintain this new consciousness before I see results? This is the voice of doubt, the voice that would pull you back into the consciousness of lack. Time is not a factor in the operation of consciousness. The only factor is the intensity and persistence of your assumption. Consider this: every moment you spend wondering when your desire will manifest is a moment spent in the consciousness of not having it. Every moment you spend checking to see if it's working is a moment of doubt. These moments of doubt are like continually digging up a seed to see if it's growing. Let me share with you the secret of perfect faith. Live as though your assumption is already fact. When you truly assume the consciousness of being successful, you no longer worry about when or how it will manifest. You simply live from that state, knowing that what you have assumed in consciousness must objectify itself in your world. Think about this: the outer world is nothing more than a delayed reflection of your inner assumptions. What you are experiencing now is the result of past assumptions. What you will experience tomorrow is being determined by your consciousness today. Many of you struggle with what appears to be failure or setback. But I tell you, there is no such thing as failure when you understand the law of consciousness. What appears as failure is simply the passing away of an old state of consciousness. It is making way for the new state you have assumed. Let me tell you something profound about the nature of success. It is not a series of achievements or acquisitions. It is a state of consciousness that, once truly assumed, expresses itself in countless ways in your external world. When you live in the consciousness of success, success becomes your natural experience. Consider how different your life would be if you never again lived in the consciousness of lack. If you never again said, I can't, I need, I want. If you lived completely and consistently in the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. This is the challenge I leave with you tonight. Stop doing the one thing that pushes success away. Stop living in the consciousness of lack. Begin now to live in the consciousness of fulfillment. Let every thought, every feeling, every inner conversation spring from the assumption that you are already what you desire to be. Remember this eternal truth. The world is yourself pushed out. Change your concept of self, and you change your world. There is no other way. All things exist in consciousness, and it is from consciousness that all things appear. Your task is simple, though it may not be easy. Assume the consciousness of being successful now. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but now. For now is the only time there is, and now is when your assumptions are creating your future. I leave you with this final thought. Success is not something you pursue. It is something you express from a state of consciousness. The consciousness of lack perpetuates lack. The consciousness of success perpetuates success. Choose this day which consciousness you will live from. For in the end, there is only one cause behind all effects, one source of all manifestation, consciousness. And you are that consciousness individualized as you. The power is within you. The choice is yours. The time is now. Test this law. Prove it to yourself. For in the testing lies your freedom, and in the proving lies your transformation. Go now and live in the assumption that you are already that which you desire to be, and watch as your world transforms to reflect your new state of consciousness. The one thing you must stop doing is waiting to be successful. For success is not a future state to be achieved, it is a present state to be assumed. Assume it now, live from it now, be it now. For what you assume, you become. And now, knowing this truth, knowing that the power is within you, knowing that your consciousness creates your reality, go forth and be what you desire to be. For in this knowing lies your freedom. And in this freedom lies your power. Test it, prove it, live it. For this is the law, and this is the way. Good night.